It would help if I added myself to the stage. Welcome back. Nikki T Online here. Nick, as some people call me, Nicholas, as my grandmother used to call me if she was mad at me. But either way, we're here. Welcome back to Two Full, Two Stack, September edition. Before we get started, just wanted to mention Brian Rinaldi, who runs the CFE.dev. It's going to be coming to an end, I think, after the next couple of conferences. There's a whole blog post about that that he shared. I will have to find it, or I'll try and find it later. But all that to say is, I just want to give a big shout out to Brian for all the events he's put on over the years on the CFE.dev, and also just thanks for bringing my channel onto here. It's been a lot of fun coming on here and just rambling away to hopefully some useful things. Yeah, I know you're sad, Brian, but big props to you, man. I know for folks who've never run an event, a lot goes into it, and I think even doing remote ones is harder because you still have to make them enjoyable when there's not that in-person context. So just a big shout out to you, man. Cool. All right. So now that we've got the slight sadness out of the way, we're going to hang today and we're going to chat about securing MCPs. So I guess first thing is, what are MCPs? I'm sure a lot of people are probably somewhat familiar with them now, but it's still pretty new, so I think it's worth going over it. Yeah, we're getting a few sobs in the chat here. Yeah, I know, end of an era, but a good era, I guess you would say. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, boom. And also, thanks for joining us, Matthew. I will say, like, even though it is sad things are coming to an end here, obviously this channel will no longer be a thing either. But for folks who aren't aware, I do stream on my own channel pretty regularly, so I'm going to drop a link to that. It'd be awesome if folks want to give a follow over there. I'm on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, all the places. But you can check that over at nickit.live, and I'll just load it up here. Oh, interesting. My site is down 500, really? Okay. Something went wrong with my deploy, I guess. I don't know. Have to check that out. Or, yeah, you know what? It's a live coding stream. It's a stream. Let's just go to Netlify and see what's up. Okay, yes. Let me just go get this. Yes, I see one password. 1 second. All right. Wasn't expecting to get a 500 on my page. I think it might be. I use Airtable to show the content, and I think I hit my quota for the public API. That said, I am looking to move on to Neon database on Netlify, but all right, there we go. Cool, let's go check out nickit.live. Says it's published, so let's see here. Let's check the logs. Functions, any errors? Okay, let's see here. Yeah, okay, so that is Airtable. So that is something I'm gonna have to fix sooner than later. Okay, that's good to know though. Should be cached, but I guess I still hit my quota. I'm gonna trigger a deploy just to see. This has nothing to do with what we're doing today, but just gives me this little nudge to obviously fix that. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, there we go. We got a deploy going. Like I said, we're going to talk about MCPs. I'll load that up in a second. All right. The other thing that there's some pages I have in my Astro site. We did some Astro migration on this live stream because my main site, nickit.co, we did a bunch of stuff moving the blogs to nickit.live, but essentially nickit.live is going to become nickit.co with everything. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I migrated to Astro. Oh yeah, I realized when I was starting to do that, like I think I had to, and some of the pages shouldn't be, they should just be static, is what I'm getting at. Because I think I'm in hybrid mode and I think it was serving them all. So, all right, let's go see if this fixes it. I'm going to guess I'm going to still get a 500. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll have to sort that out. But nothing like things going boom while you're live streaming. Okay, let's see here. Do a couple checks. Cool. All right. Cool. Yeah, so let's look at model context protocol. So I'll drop a link to this. I've been talking a lot about this lately over the past, pretty much since like June or late May maybe. So what is the model context protocol? It's essentially a standard that got adopted, not adopted, that was built at Anthropic, so one of the big AI companies. So they just developed this standard, and it's just a way to make things universal in terms of tool calling. Prior to a standard like this, you might have to, decorate or wrap tool calls differently just so you could get it all to work together. And there's MCP, so model context protocol servers that are local. That's what things started off as. And so, like, I would say it was typically developers using these, probably almost always. I can't think of a local, you like, I don't want to say regular, but like a non-dev employee using local MCP servers, because you had to have like a JSON config and stuff. And anyways, those work, but like, it's great if you're running it on your local, but you obviously want to have, there's this thing called the internet, so you probably want to be able to share these tools. But with that, you have to consider security. So like, you obviously, like when this first came out, OAuth wasn't part of the spec. So people were creating MCP servers, and they basically had like API keys, and it was still very, I don't know, I guess somewhat experimental. Like this literally came out last November, so November 2024. But I was at the MCP Dev Summit in late May, early June in San Francisco, and like a few weeks before that, OAuth entered the spec, and so that was definitely a great thing, because now you got OAuth in terms of like, you get a login with OAuth, and then you can also like, authorize what you have access to, and that's definitely a good thing moving forward. And especially if you want to have a remote server, you want to go through a login flow, so it's not just like anybody can access these resources. Now, this works well to a certain degree, but if we look at like the security practices here, where is it? There we go. Security best practices. They talk about stuff like you should be proxying through a server, so that's like some kind of gateway. You want to avoid stuff. Well, there's definitely stuff like it's called prompt injection. So this is like, think of like the SQL injection days. This is similar, but like nowadays, like you have no idea, because like people are just typing whatever. So there's that as well. We're not going to cover that today, but basically if you have some kind of gateway, you can kind of run these rules to kind of sanitize the input or reject it. And same thing on the way out, you could sanitize the output. So if you think about like, I don't know, think of a scenario where maybe there's an MCP that doctors are using potentially, or researchers, they don't need to know the patient's like personal information. They just need to know like, this person had a broken arm or like tibia, I don't know, compound fracture or whatever. Like the actual information they need. They don't need to know like this is John Doe. They could say something maybe like middle-aged man. I don't know, whatever. But you can filter that out is what I'm getting at. Okay. Also, I'm gonna move myself down in the corner a bit. There we go. Get a little more real estate. There's all kinds of security best practices going through here. You, the other thing you have to think about is, and I didn't drop this link. Oh, I did drop the link. Okay, I'll drop the security best practices too. The other thing you have to think about now is it's like you think from the human aspect, like you've typically logged into websites, you put in your username, your password, you say, yes, I want to continue with this thing. This is all very different in an agentic workflow context. So, you're going to say like, I don't know, what's the weather here and where I live? And then it's going to go off to make some tool call. It might do it, but like you literally don't know what it's doing at that point, basically. You're going to get weather back probably, but who knows what it's doing under the hood. So it's not the same flow as if like a human was in the loop. So these are things you kind of got to consider. So like, let's just kind of take a look at what an MCP server looks like first. And then I'm going to dig into something called zero trust security. Full disclosure, somewhere I work, Pomerium, we have a Identiware proxy, which is based on zero trust security, and that's what I'm going to show after. But I think it really fits. I'm biased, obviously, but okay. So let's go into VS Code. And I had a lot of meetings this morning, so I am not prepared for live coding yet. I got to open up the thing here. Okay, let's do dev2 MCP. So let's do that. And also, I made an MCP a little while ago. I'll drop this in the chat. So I used to work at a company called Dev2 that eventually became a company called Forum. Forum is the company that runs dev.2. It's a popular blogging platform, typically for developers. They have other forums, but I would say Dev2 is like the main one. Hey, how's it going, Surav? Yeah, so what's the topic today? So we're talking about MCPs, so Model Context Protocol. I was just showing this web page here. This is a MCP I created recently. If you want to check that out, give it a star, give it a fork, check it out. You can check it out there. And also, thanks for joining us, Surav. Okay, so we've got an MCP, and like essentially, let's open up the code here. Am I in the right project? Yes, I am. Okay, so this also, I have a template for building MCPs with TypeScript for anybody interested. I can drop that in after. But let's look at this. Okay, so essentially, all an MCP server is it's a grouping of tools that you can call. Typically, they're related because they're in this particular server. The nice thing about it being in a server is it would be a remote model context protocol server, so you can use this within, like, say, Claude or ChatGPT or Goose, which is my friends over at Block are working on. And I also have a demo app I made. If you're using VS Code, you can use MCPs in there too. And essentially, what you have is you have a bunch of tools here. So we have, for example, like this get articles tool. And basically, you got to give it some metadata information. So this tool its titles get articles. It explains what it does. So it can get articles from dev2. It can filter by username, tag, or other parameters. This is some additional annotations. This is really more for just letting tools that read these annotations it lets people know if these are like read-only tools or can they do read or writes. And I actually wrote a blog post about this too recently because I ran into an issue with ChatGPT where it said all my tools were write tools. So for anybody who wants to check that out. Yeah, so Sarav, here, I'll pop your question up there. So um, we might not build an MCP server today. I'm probably going to just showcase the one I built, but I'm going to explain um, how you can create one. We could actually build one. Good call. We've got I got an hour and a half booked for today, so we could probably do that. Okay. But essentially, yeah, I ran into some issues where ChatGPT was saying all my tools were showing up as right tools. And then I added those additional things here, the read-only hint, the open world hint, and that basically sorted that out. I'll just kind of walk through here a few other things you have, and I'll also mention this is a TypeScript project. It's using the TypeScript MCP SDK. And so we've got some things in here. So like the input schema. So we've got some validation. So this is using Zod, but we're saying like, the username is an optional string. Tags can be optional. So that could be like, like pass in React or something. And then the top is, I think it's like that's the number of results to return. I think it defaults to 15, or maybe that's something else. I forget what top is. And then, we have paging and how many per page, and there's a few things here. And if you're wondering where I'm getting all this information, this is mapping to the dev2 API. So dev2, or let's do forum API, not Apu. I did not mean Apu, sorry. Shout out to the Simpsons. Okay. So I basically built this MCP server leveraging the forum API. So this is for like dev2 essentially. So a couple things I'll mention here is like, so this call is actually going to call the dev2 API. So this is all this stuff up here is just like validation and metadata. And then we have our actual thing where we actually call the dev2 API, and that's going to get our information. And then when that comes back, we return that result to an MCP client. So an MCP client is a piece of software that can actually support MCP servers and remote MCP servers, so like VS Code, for example. So let's go, for example, into, well, we'll do it in a few places here. Let me go ahead and get my MCP server. So where is it? Chat. No, that's not it. masonlab.dev.mariam/mcp/routes. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is going to these are just some MCP servers I have. So we're going to go to this one here. This is one that I currently have deployed. That's not the exact one, but it's over here actually. There we go. This one I want. So this is my dev2 MCP server. So I'm going to grab this URL and let's go to VS Code. I'm going to show it in a few places, and this is to kind of solidify the fact that you can use this in any spec compliant MCP client. So let's do MCP list servers. Let's go add a server. Actually, let's see if I already have one in here. Okay, not that one. Okay, let's get rid of a few here. What's this one? GitHub. Yeah, we'll leave that. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to do Command Shift P or Control Shift P, depending on your operating system. And we're going to say add a server. I'm going to choose HTTP because that's the kind of server that I've built. It's a streamable HTTP one. And I'm going to paste it in. So this is the login, and it's going to add it to the configuration. I'll just call it dev2 MCP. I'll say it's global, available to anybody using any workspace I'm in my VS Code. Okay, now you're going to see what happens here. This is currently secured, so it's going to go through an OAuth flow. So I'm going to say allow, and then I'm logged in. And then all of a sudden, you see that it's running here. So now if I come into like, whatchamacallit, excuse me, let's switch to beast mode. This is GPT-5 mini. So yeah, so now we're in agent mode in Copilot. So I'm gonna do something like, I'll zoom this in more just so people can see it, and then we'll say like, get Nikki T online's latest blog posts. I'm gonna save that because I'm gonna use it elsewhere. Now this should call my actual MCP server. Okay, no, that's not what I wanted it to do. I think I need to activate my server. Let's see here. Okay, there. Okay, it's enabled now. Okay, let's do this. Let's stop and let's try again. Of course, it's a live demo, so let's see what happens. Sure. I don't know what that was. Okay. Let's see if it works in here. The FTP server is hooked up. Whoa, what are you doing? No, that's not what I wanted you to do. Let's try this again. Get latest blog posts. Okay. If it doesn't work in here, I'm gonna go into Goose, but I'm not sure why it's not calling my MCP server at the moment. Okay. So it's calling my dev2 MCP server here now. So you see here, I said I had to let it know what my username is. I could save this in memory, but you're gonna see here it's saying, can I run this? And I'm gonna say, yes, you can. I'm gonna allow it. And now it's gonna make that tool call. So it ran get articles. It said username's Nikki T online. And then you're gonna see here, it's returning my recent articles. So that's cool. Now let's go into something like Goose. I'm just gonna turn my fan on here because I'm melting, even though it's starting to get cold here. Okay, you didn't. That went very quickly, but I already have this MCP server configured in Goose, and it just authorized me, so it went through the OAuth flow. So if I come here and I do get Nikki T Online's latest blog posts, it should call my tool here too. So you see here, it's calling my tool again in my MCP server, and it's giving similar output. So um, it's doing something funky with the cover image, but that's very hard on the eyeballs. Sorry about that. I'll just open this while that's doing that. But essentially, it got all my articles as well. So this is really just to show that you can use it in multiple contexts. And if I even go into, let's go to Claude. So like, let me copy this again. And let's go to here. And do I have it installed? Let's go to settings, let's go to connectors. Connectors are essentially MCP servers. Claude just calls them connectors. So I'm going to say add a custom connector. I find it funny that they call them connectors because Anthropic's the ones that came up with the name MCP, or Model Context Protocol. So I'm not sure why they went with connectors. But anyway, so at dev2 MCP, I'm going to give the URL. And yes, I'm going to confirm I trust it. Let's add it. There's advanced settings here too, but I don't need to put any OAuth stuff there. I'm going to say add. Now, let's see if this works here. It's live coding, live demo, so you never know. Okay, it seems to be connected now. And if we configure, you can see it's showing me all the tools I have available, and it's set to ask me always for now. So let's go in like a new chat and say, not that, get Nikki T Online's latest blog posts. It should call my tool, hopefully. Okay, so yeah, so again, same thing here. So again, I just want to reiterate, this is a standard, and I'm in like my third MCP client here now, and you can see that it's still doing similar things. It's calling the tool, and I'm going to say always allow because I trust this MCP server. I wrote it, and it's only read only anyway, so I can't do anything destructive. It's going to get my latest articles, and again, it's going to look similar to what you saw on Goose, not VS Code, because I don't know what I think I might have screwed something up there, but basically just want to reiterate that this is a standard, and as long as you're in a spec compliant MCP client like Claude, Goose, VS Code, ChatGPT dev mode now too. That's a new one, and let's go ahead and show that too actually. So let's go to let me pull this off screen for a sec. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And let's go to settings. So what you need to do if you want to use dev mode in chat GPT, you got to learn to speak. Believe it's connectors, advanced settings, and you have to enable developer mode. I already have it on. And again, they call them connectors here too. It's like, why did we even call them MCP servers then? And I have one here. Okay, yeah, that's my current one. Yeah, okay. So it's there. I don't know if this is gonna work in here because I tried this the other day and it didn't pick up my my source, but let's connect it. Yes, continue. All right, so it's gonna go through an OAuth flow again and boom. And let's see here. Get Nikki T Online's latest blog posts. When I tried this the other day in dev mode, it started doing fetch calls to dev2 instead of calling my actual MCP server. So let's see what happens. I feel like it's going to do that again too, but who knows? Maybe the demo gods will be with me. Yeah, so it just did a fetch call. I think I'm not sure. Maybe it did the tool call and it just doesn't show it. I'm actually not sure. But anyways, main point is you can use it in multiple MCP clients, and as long as your MCP server, follows like the SDK and the standards, it should work in any of these. So let's go ahead here now and let's see here, goose. Okay. All right, let's come back here to VS Code. All right, we don't need beast mode open. Okay, let's close this, and we could, Surab was asking, can we build one then? You know what? Why don't we build one then? Okay, so let's open up my MCP template, or actually let's do this. Where is it? I have a branch with whatchamacallit. I haven't merged it yet, but I have a branch with OAuth support for my template. So let's just go to there. MCP template. There we go. I won't say no if you want to give a start of this, so go for it. There we go. All right. So essentially, yeah, this is a TypeScript MCP template. It's using TypeScript. Uses Express for the the web server. I like Hono, but the MCP SDK for TypeScript, it uses Express. So like you can do things to make it work with Hono, but then I think it actually makes it slower in Hono. So I just went with Express. It's got, some standard stuff, ESLint prettier, and it's got Docker, so you can like build a Docker container, and it's got an example tool. So we can go ahead and let's just say use this template, create a new repository, choose Nikki T Online, and we'll call this let's call it CFE MCP. All right, and who knows, maybe we will make an MCP server over time that is able to access all the existing CFE content. Maybe I'm not saying we're going to do that today. I don't know if we can do all that today, but let's make this public. Let's go ahead and create the raw repository. Cool. Yeah, well, the file system, so you don't really need to, in a remote MCP server, Surav, you wouldn't really be accessing, I mean, you could access the file system, but like it'd typically be you're making API calls and stuff. Um, I'd say shy away from the file system, and it's the same kind of thing like when you're in like serverless stuff, file system, uh, it varies. Okay, so we clone this from the template. I'm just gonna go copy this and let's go into over here. Cool. And let's go down a level. We're in OSS and I'm gonna clone this CFE MCP. All right. And let's do code dash R so that we reuse the window and CFE. There we go. Okay, so this is our new MCP server, and I'm just going to go ahead and install the dependencies. NI is just my alias for npm install. Shout out to aliases. Anyways, while that's going on, I'm just going to check socials real quick. All right, that's installed already. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. Looks like we got some love showing up on socials. Cool. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so that installed. Let's clear that and we can do npm run dev. And this is going to start a dev server. And I'm going to, is it running on 3000? Yeah. So I'm going to forward the port in VS Code. This is going to allow us to have a publicly accessible URL on the internet. Let's make it public, continue, YOLO. All right. And yes, I'm going to open it. And it's going to obviously always does that, opens on the other screen. That's okay. Let's bring this back over here. Okay. So if we go to the website or the web app, we're going to get there's nothing at the get. But if we go to /MCP, we're going to see we get some information about the MCP server. So we're going to see here, we should probably change this, but basically TypeScript MCP template for building MCP servers. So let's go ahead and find that. And let's just change this to MCP server, or we don't even need to say MCP server. A set of tools for getting information about certified fresh events. There we go. Let's just not DFE, CFE. Let's replace that. Okay, now if we come back here, there we go. Okay, cool. And we should change the name to bum bum. Is that the only place, or well, we'll replace it in a few places. We'll call it CFE MCP. Yeah, you know me. I don't know. We're wrapping now. All right, cool. Let's replace all that. Let's come back here. There we go. All right, so that's a good base. Now, so we have this public URL that I just closed, but let's come back here. And let's go ahead and let's go into, let's look at the tools first, actually. So let's close that. We could actually use it right in here. We're going to start the debugger. Attach the node process. I think it's this one. Okay, and then we're going to see here. Yeah, that looks like it. Okay. And then here, let's close the bottom here. Okay, so we can ask something like, oh, and we got to add the tool first. Sorry. Let's do add server. It's an HTTP one. Here's the URL. We'll call it CFE MCP global. Okay, there it's added. So you can see here, I've just added it, and now I'm in the debugger. So like we registered in VS Code, and it's actually starting to do its thing. Okay, so it registered. Now I'm gonna say like echo what I just said, and let's see if it picks this up. I feel like it might. Okay, so you see here, again, it's going to say, do I want to allow the CFE MCP server to run? I'm going to say always allow in this workspace just because I'm building it. So if I don't trust myself, who do you trust? And you can see here, it comes into the MCP server, and the job of this particular tool is literally to echo what you said. So we can see here, echo what I just said. And if I let it continue, it should output that. Your message, echo what I just said, has been echoed back to you. So there you go. So that's like literally bare bones getting started with an MCP server. Let's go and see like CFE has like a, let's go to cfe.dev. And let's see here. I feel like they probably have slash feed.xml maybe. Oh, interesting. No. Oh yeah, it's the 404 page. Just try RSX maybe. No. What is it? Maybe feed. Nope. I'm gonna keep guessing here, but rss.xml I put. There we go. Okay, so we've got a feed here. So you know, like this is a bunch of stuff. Yeah, it's rss.xml. Yeah, I just found it. So this goes all the way back to April. I don't know. Like I could just say like get upcoming events and like get like if we look at the times here, let me zoom this in. So you can see here like Pixel Palooza, which is coming up. Also, yeah, just a couple things to mention. It's a bummer that CFE's going away, but as Brian mentioned in his letter, as his post about this, all the content's going to stay up, but also there's still two events happening. There's one happening this week, September 25th. That's Code Word Conf. Definitely check that out. And let me actually just drop these links in. Cool. Here, that's Code Word Conf if folks want to check that out. These are always great events. And there's also Pixel Palooza. This one's coming up in November. So I'll drop that too. You can head over to cfe.dev, obviously, and check these out. Yeah, so what I want to do is, I don't know, this is where we're going to do some vibe coding maybe. Okay, so I'll keep that there, and then let's see here. We'll call this tool, we'll call it events. And okay, yeah, thank you, Copilot. It's not to manage events. We're just going to retrieve event information of certified fresh events. There we go. Cool. And so yeah, message input schema dot describe the message to echo back. No, that we don't need. There. And sure, no, that should stay like that. Yeah, message oh no, that's not the data we're going to return. Okay, so basically we're going to get that data. So we'll just say like get events yeah, I guess we could say just get latest events. I don't know. We'll work on it. Uh, what you doing there? Okay, get events message, and we'll just say const data equals. Oh, wait, get events. Yes. Okay, now this get events doesn't exist yet. So let's just do, what do we got here? We'll say new file, events.ts, export function. Yeah, sure. No, that's too much stuff, Copilot. Um, okay, so we're gonna return a promise, any, and then in here, yeah, let's do this. We're gonna say const RSS feed equals, not Rotten Tomatoes, but let's go ahead and grab this. Okay, and let's forget the return type for now. And okay, parse XML. Where's this parse XML coming from? Uh, sure. You know what? Let's get. Hold on a sec here. Okay, let's take that off the jumbotron. Cool. All right, so we're gonna say like use an RSS parser to get the events from the RSS feed. Uh, it's okay, or let me zoom this in a bit. It's okay to use a third party library for this. All right. So basically the idea here is, and I'm not going to go overkill, like we can definitely cache the RSS feed and invalidate it once a week or something, but okay, let's see here. What did it say? The types package doesn't exist. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's close this. Let's see what's it saying. Okay. Yeah, that looks right for the interface. Okay. Let's just let this work here. I'm obviously, this is a side note, but we're vibe coding right now. It's fine to have AI generate things for you, but always be critical of it, and you should be validating what it outputs. All right. Still working. Okay, boom. All right, yeah. Okay, cool. Test pass, nice. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, now we don't need to run dev, it's already running. Okay. Yeah, hold on a sec. Let's just stop. Okay, that got me far enough. Okay, let's close this. All right, so let's look at a few things here. This looks pretty accurate for the type because we've got title, link. We need this. Oh, that's a channel. Sorry, title, link, pub date, description. No, I'm gonna do this. Channel title. Uh, Okay, so this should really be title, link, pub date. Sure, GUID. String, yes. Oh, it already had GUID. Description. There's no content snippet. Cool. Didn't have this plan, so let's just see how it goes. Okay, so That's our interface for an event item. So logger info sounds good. And parser, new parser. Get the feed dot title. Okay, and then feed dot items dot length. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, and then we're gonna get the events, and then we're gonna filter. So search query to lowercase. Let's see here. Search query. This might not be the best thing to do. Let's see here. Filter if there's a query. Let's see. Get events. And here. Search query to lowercase includes the title. Yeah. Okay. So let's just see how this works. And then we're going to return events, and that's data. And what's the structure we're supposed to return for data again? Uh, oh, yeah. Uh, return data. Object limits. Data is not. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry. That's the return type. Okay. We don't need this. Let's say data unknown, or we can say event item, right? Think that's it. Data events content snippet array. Why does it have content snippets still? Pub date event item title link pub. Yeah. Okay, here, yeah. Feed items title link. Is link in there? I don't. Yeah, link pub date GUID description. And let's get rid of this. This should be description. Let's just do this. Okay, if event. And then here we can get rid of that. Okay, and then here we're going to return data event. That's right. Okay, let's go and see what we have in the other side here now. So try to remember what we return here. It should be data, right? Let me open up the other MCP. I forget the return type. Let's go dev2 MCP. All right. Just going to go to one of the tools. Okay, so it's data. Yeah, data unknown. Okay. Oh, yeah. So it's just data. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Let's do this then. Event data is unknown. Events dot length. It's not as. Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's go back here. Do, 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 do. Okay. All right. And what's it not like now? ISO date. I don't, there's no ISO. Is there an ISO date? No, there's no ISO date. Okay. Now what's it saying? I forgot the GUID. Okay. All right, we good now? Okay. And then otherwise, catch error, fail to get stuff, sure. And let's just exit these things. All right. And what's next? Okay. That is logger.ts. And then where else? Index, get events, .ts. All right. OSS. Why did it put all these? There we go. We're up and running. Those come from there. Types dot is initialize request. Okay. I think we're good now. And we could just say, all right, let's see here. We've got ports, it's running. Okay. Let's go open this now. And if we go to slash MCP now, okay, that's still there. And let's go ahead and try this in maybe Goose. Let's add a custom extension. So we're going to say CFE MCP. It's going to be streamable HTTP, endpoint, add extension. Okay, it successfully added it. And I forget how you do new chat in Goose. You can open a new window. This is one thing I wish Goose could just stay in the same window, but unless there's something I'm missing. But let's come here and say like get latest CFE events and let's see here. Let's add the debugger and we should get here. Attached to node process. Cool. Should be good. And let's see what happens. First time writing this thing, so not sure what's gonna happen. Is the debugger on? Oh no, it's not. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it is. Gonna zoom that down one. Goose is thinking. What you thinking about, Goose? I did put a description that, yeah, retrieve events for. Oh, you know what? I think we might need to do CFE event, CFE. There we go. Let's try this again. Let's do there. Get latest CFE events. And I did. Okay. Search available extensions. Oh, interesting. Okay, so found the CFE MCP. Okay, interesting. No, not CFE. Okay, it doesn't know what CFE is, I guess. Let's see here. CFE as in certified fresh events. No, I don't use the web content fetching abilities. Let's see here. Let me make sure this is running. It is running, and the debugger is not on. So let's see here. Attach should be good. Yeah, no, that's the wrong thing. Here, let's do this. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Yeah, Canadian Football League. Yeah. It's like not even close. It's like, all right. Let's go to extensions. Let's try this again. All right. We could add a description, but there should be one. CFE events. That's the right URL. Okay. Let's do a new chat. Okay. Okay, that's the dev2 one. Sure. Okay. Get the latest certified, I'll be very specific for now, fresh events. Let's see if why is it scraping rotten tomatoes? Oh man, that is pretty hilarious. Is there any way to specify multiple aliases for the tool so there is multiple ways how the user will get to the right tool? Uh, yeah, I don't see why not. It's a great question, and I'm in the wrong window here. Slava, sorry. Um, yeah, you could. I think the easiest way to do that would be like, man, I am having trouble switching windows at the moment. The easiest way you could do that, I think, is literally just have I would encapsulate it all. So like, okay, it did call the tool. Sorry, that's good. So let's let that play. I'll show you what I mean in a sec. Slava. Okay, so describe. Okay, so it did register the tool. That's good. Okay, now now that it did that, let's just do. I'm gonna put cfe.dev. Let's reattach. Okay, no, get the latest cfe.dev events. Ah. This is also like being able to describe your tools properly. Okay, yes, thank you. You just went to the website and did it. Okay, let's see if I can get VS Code to make it fire. Um, what's the URL again? There we go. Okay, let's do add server. Yeah, no worries, Ryan. Take care. Okay, so let's add this one and we'll call it CFE dev global. Okay, so you can see here it goes to register it and let's let it run. Okay, so now let's open up here and let's do a new conversation and we'll just say like, first let's check it should have my tool, CFE MCP, and it's got, oh, interesting, it's got the, oh, that's the old one. So let's get rid of that one. I could have just restarted it, but all right, so it's got one tool, show configuration, cool. All right, and let's start that up. Okay, it's running, and we can say get the latest cfe.dev events. Come on. Okay, there we go. So it's gonna run it, and it should end up here. So I'm gonna say always allow. Okay, so we end up here, and all right, so we've got, get the latest events. See, interesting. You see, so it was able to convert it to the messages latest events, and I wrote get the latest CME events. So let's do this. Let's head in here. Now we'll get here. Okay, so we've got events now, or we should. Query. Yeah, so this is going to filter and probably not find anything. We'll just say, I don't think we need to query. Well, we can see here what it's going to say. We'll leave it at latest events, but let's just do this. Let's click play. It's going to return nothing because we filtered out. Yes, again. The other thing is it might make multiple calls. Okay, so it found them. Okay. Um, so this was actually, I'm curious what it did here. I think what would make more sense is we get rid of the query. Let's come back here. What did I just delete? That wasn't good. Oh yeah. Query original account. Okay. Let's just do that and get rid of that. So this is just going to get the events in general. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's say get CFE events about MCP. Let's see what happens here. Oh. Okay, it got one. I don't know if all of them are related to MCP, but I think that's the filtering. Okay. Well, regardless, it's getting events here, and let's try this again. Let me just detach, and we'll do get me cfe.dev events about pixels. See what it does. Okay, there you go. So it got us that, and then it's just mentioning other events. So this seems to be working. Now, just doing a time check here. We can implement OAuth if we go to, I'm not in the branch that does the OAuth, but essentially you would do OAuth and you would get that login flow and stuff. That's cool. Just assume we've done that. So now what I want to do is, let's get this port. Okay. Copy, where is it? Copy local address. Okay, we're gonna come into Pomerium now. So you can do this today. There's a few things here I'll mention. So Pomerium itself is open core. So like you can do everything I'm going to show you in the open core version. It's just you're using YAML instead. And just for demoing, this is just easier to get across, I think. So I'm going to create, well, let's kind of talk through what happens here. So we're going to talk about zero trust briefly. So zero trust has kind of become overused, I'd say. A lot of people claim they're zero trust, they really aren't, or they're pieces of it. Essentially, Pomerium is what's called an identity aware proxy, and I can show you what that is here. And this comes from Google. So Google in the 2010s had this major breach, and they're like, they're probably like that guy from The Wire, like shit. Anyways, not he, sorry. They're like, we just got to do something about this. This was a major breach. So they rethought security from the ground up. So typically, the they basically had a VPN based solution, and um, basically somebody got onto the VPN. And the thing is, once you're on the VPN, you're like on the internal network. It's I don't say it's carte blanche, but like you have access to the whole internet, to the whole network. Doesn't mean you can log into everything, obviously, but you have access to the network, and that's kind of what happened from what I remember. And like somebody, maybe it was a bit of social engineering. I can't remember, but they got somebody's account, they got onto the network, and then wreaked some havoc. So I don't know if I don't think they use VPNs at all anymore there, but um, essentially what they came up with was these Beyond Corp papers, and I can load that up if people are interested. Da, da, da. That is, why am I seeing CIA pages? Oh, Beyond Cord. Is that like cord cutters, like leaving your cable? Okay, let's go back here. So you can check this out. And essentially, they just, like I said, they rethought things. So it's not VPN. What they came up with, in a nutshell, is they use this thing called an identity aware proxy. Now, if you ever meet anybody from Google, you can maybe kind of wow them and say like, yeah, the Uber proxy is pretty cool, and they're going to probably say like, how do you know what that is? So Uber proxy is Google's version of an identity aware proxy. It's only internal. They also have one in Google Cloud. They have an identity aware proxy that you can use if you're on Google Cloud. The thing is, though, like not everybody's on Google Cloud, and the reality of nowadays, especially with AI workloads, is people are multi-cloud. So like the IAP, the identity aware proxy on Google Cloud, that might not be so useful if you need to have workloads on multiple clouds. All right, so yeah, so basically they said like forget VPNs. The way it works now is you have, if you think about it from like the web context, so like HTTP, or what we would say is application layer or layer 7 of the network stack, you're going to have publicly accessible URLs now, like even for super secret internal stuff. And essentially they're called from routes. And the from route is what's publicly seen. Like, people obviously might not know what these URLs are. And also, when you log in, you only see the URLs that you have access to, or that's how it should work. And then essentially, there's like your super secret internal server that's in your own network. And then you have in the middle, you have an identity aware proxy. So in our case here, it's Pomerium. This is open core, like I said. If we go to Pomerium, feel free to go give this a star too. Where is it? GitHub.com/Pomerium. Cool. Let's drop that. You can check that out. Won't say no to a star. So this is the open core of Pomerium. So like everything I'm going to show, like aside from the UI, everything is open core for this, what I'm going to show you. Like I said, there's config files if you want to see this in the open core version. So like you can see that over like in here. If we come into, oh no, that's my home lab. Never mind. My home lab set up with that. But let me put this back up again. Essentially, the config is going to look like, can I get to it right now? Let's open up another project real quick. Palm scripts, where are you at? Okay. So essentially, if you're using the open source version, you can still configure these things, but it's YAML. So you have these routes, and then there's a from route, and then there's like the internal route. And there's also something called policies attached to it. But I'm going to come back here. Let's close this. So here's what happens. So you also have your identity provider. So your identity provider is something like GitHub for login, or like Google or Microsoft Entra, whatever your company uses. It could be open source stuff like Keycloak. There's Auth0. There's like all kinds. But basically, you need a what's called an OIDC Connect compliant identity provider to work with the identity proxy. And so here's what the flow is pretty much. You're going to be like, okay, I want to go to app.example.com. You're going to hit the IAP, the identity aware proxy. It's going to go like, okay, this person isn't logged in. So let's redirect them to the login, which is the IDP, the identity provider. So in our case, I'm going to log in through Google. I get logged in as my user for Pomerium. Comes back to the identity aware proxy, the purple box here, goes, okay, this looks like it's Nick. He's logged in. That's great. He's trying to access this original server over here, this internal server on port 5001. Let's check the policies. So like, is Nick allowed to access this? And what's that policy look like? That can be something super simple. It could be just like, as long as Nick's email is in the pomerium.com domain, I can access it. Great. It could get more complicated though. You can have sophisticated ones. It could be like time or day of the week. Could be like you're in certain roles and stuff. The main thing I want to get through though to you with zero trust is it's not like just roles and checking. It's not just like a login and checking a couple things. The policy engine can have super complex stuff. You can pull in third party data. So like think about, I don't know, like your on-call schedule, could check devices, like are you on an authorized device to access the resource? Can go on and on and on. So anyways, you basically, like if we come to the dev2 MCP, for example, so you're gonna see here, I have this route, so I have this from, so it's going to dev2.maisonlab.dev, and then this is the actual internal server. So like I'm running Docker Compose on, I have a mini PC in my house. That's where this is actually at. But from the internet, this is where you're going to try and access it. And there's a policy, and the policy right now is just me only. So let's see what that looks like again. So let's go back to Goose. The Goose is loose. Okay, and yes, I know I'm logged in. Thank you. Not sure if that's I think that might be a bug in Goose where it's trying to authorize me every time. Like I'm already logged in, but I might have to report that to the Goose crew. All right, so let's do this again. Get Nikki T Online's latest blog posts. Now this should work, and that's because the MCP server is running and I'm allowed to access it. So I'm going to get my articles. And if we look over here, we can probably see, let's see here. Let's do this. Let's do a grep. Let's do dev2. Okay, so we can see here, dev2. Yeah, okay. So you can see here, if I zoom this in, gonna get really big here, but you can see here, it authorized me, it did a check. So this is hitting to dev2.maisonlab.dev. And we're gonna see here, I'm already logged in. This is my user information, my email. And you're gonna see here, I'm allowed, it's true. And the allow why is because my email was okay. And that's because the policy I have over here is me only. And that policy is actually, looks like this. So we look at me only. It's going to show email is nick@nickit.co or my work email. So now let's go back to here. And I'm going to just remove myself from there. I'm going to save. And now if we come back here, let's see what happens. Get Nikki T Online's latest blog post. Don't fail me, demo gods. This should fail. Or is it still got it from before? Or is it's not calling my thing, I guess. Let's try. It's not working for my demo because it just went to not do the tool call. Okay, let's see here. Let's try this. Let's do, well, actually, let's go back to Goose here and let's go extensions. And then let's turn this off for a sec. Okay, why does it still say I'm success? Oh, I don't think I saved it. Did I? Dev2, policies, none. Okay, let's see. I shouldn't have access to this now. Whoops. Dev2. Okay, so I'm no longer authorized to access it. So like, uh, let's go back into, what was it, Claude, and manage connectors. It should say, yeah, it didn't let me connect. It's not giving an error specifically, but that's just that UI, I guess. But I can't connect anymore because I'm no longer in that policy. Oh, there you go. Here, it failed here. So that's because I couldn't connect. These errors aren't as good, I guess. But let's try and show something a little different. Let's come back here and I'm gonna put myself back here. So yes, save route. And if we come back to the browser, there, I have access again. And just to be clear, it's not like I was logged in and then I was logged out, or it's the policy taking effect. So now if I do this again, should be successful. Yeah, there. It's just the way the error is showing up. But like what I want to do to kind of maybe show it so that you are part of this server and you have access to it, but you can't access part of it. So if we look at the tools, let's go to, where's the dev2 MCP server? Let's go back to Claude real quick. This should connect now. Yeah, it's just, there's just no feedback saying there was an error. Okay, so we have get articles, get article, get user. So let's see here. That should be just get user. So let's find that. I just want to make sure of the tool name. Find get user, not Iser. Okay, it is get user. Okay. So let's close that. And we can do stuff like here we could say, get me info about the dev.to user at Nikki T Online. If I knew how to spell, this is where spelling actually matters because you have to get the right username. And do I have dev2? Yeah, okay. It should do the tool call. Hopefully it doesn't just go to the website. Okay, so it's making the call. And I'm just gonna say always allow because I built this thing. So it's gonna get information about me. Yeah, so this is info about me. That's good. Okay, so just wanna reiterate here what's going on. I have access to the dev2 MCP server. I'm logged in with OAuth. And now I'm going to create a policy that doesn't allow me to get the user in Pomerium. So this is where like OAuth is like, good for like what can you access, but it's not good for like, should you be accessing this now? So let's go ahead and change a policy. All right, so let's do new policy and is I've actually this is the first time me making one in here. I guess here add deny block uh, and sure. Um, MCP tool is, and I'm going to say value get user. So what this policy means is if wherever this policy is applied on on a route, whoever has access to that route will still have access to the MCP server, but they're not going to be able to call this specific tool. So let's call this no get user. Okay. And let's come back to the route. And we're going to go, this is the dev2 MCP. Okay, so we still have access to the user, but now let's add no get user. So I'm allowed to access the MCP server, but now I'm not going to be able to call the get user. Now, I don't know how Claude's going to show this, but let's see. Let's do this again. I'm hoping it'll show like an error, but okay. Okay, so there you go. So it failed to make the tool call, and that's because I changed a policy. And now it defaulted to yeah, it's saying it seems there's issues accessing the dev2 API or something. So it ended up it couldn't make that tool call. And so it defaulted to, I think it probably did a web search. So just to show you, if I come back again now, and let's go back to that route. Where is it? Sorry. Going to come back here and I'm going to remove that and I'm going to save it. And I'm going to come back here. And the thing I want to reiterate, the thing I want to like solidify here is I switched this policy. I immediately no longer had access to that tool. Now I'm going to try again and I'm going to have access to that tool immediately. So we'll do that again here. And this is kind of like a good place to wrap things up. So let's do a new chat and get me info about the dev2 user Nikki online. I have access to the dev2 MCP server and it's going to try and use that get. Did I save it? Oh, man. Or maybe I wonder if it's Claude that's persisting it. Maybe I didn't save it. It's a demo, so well, more than the demo, just okay, that's good. Where to go? Routes. Okay, that's good. It's saved. So I feel like maybe it's a cached thing. Did it work eventually? Let's try again. I have a feeling this might be Claude caching it. If it is, that's something to think about. But come on, you should work now. Okay. There, it worked this time. It took a second to kick in, I guess. Maybe Claude cached something. But yeah. So it made the call again, got information about me. So there you go. So I turned on the taps, turned off the taps, turned them back on, and we're still good. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a good place to wrap up. And yeah, just wanted to say thanks again to Brian Rinaldi for running CFE.dev all these years. Thanks for letting me do two full to stack on here. And like I mentioned to everybody, I do have my own live stream. It's currently down my website, but I will drop a link to it here. And definitely check that out. Or I'll also, if you want to just give me a follow on socials anywhere, that includes like YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever. So if you just head over to nikkit.online and let's show that up here. And okay, yeah, my website's still toast, but if you go to Nikkit online, these are all the links you can go find me: Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitch, GitHub, LinkedIn, Instagram, X/Twitter, Mastodon, TikTok, all those places. Would appreciate the follows. And like I said, I'll be continuing to live stream on nicket.live. So definitely subscribe to the YouTube, the Twitch, wherever you watch stuff. And yeah, again, big ups to Brian and everybody that's helped volunteer over the years for the CFE.dev. So take care, everybody. And I'd say I'd see you in the next one, but I won't. But maybe I'll see you at Code Word on the 25th this week. Take care, everybody.